You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to talk about 3 nutrients that are really important here. And I'm going to start off with talking about this supposedly breakthrough in some medications for the coronavirus. We're talking about, or you're hearing it on the television for sure, on the news, about hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, which is an antibiotic. The other one is an anti-malarial drug. And the combination apparently is pretty exciting in terms of what they're seeing so far. It seems to be working against this virus. And so there's been a lot of talk about these 2 medications really breakthrough. I mean, they've been around for a long time, but one is anti-malarial, the other is an antibiotic, and in combination, the 2 apparently have a lot of success in treating the COVID-19. Are you getting tired of it yet? I'm so tired of it. I'm on the countdown for, but you know what? There's no, even when I get out of my self-isolation, what are we going to do? There's not much to do, right? You go to the grocery store or whatever, and there's not much. Hopefully, 2 medications. I'm going to tell you how they work, why they have seemed to be effective, and then I'm going to show you what your body needs and one of the reasons that these meds work, okay? So, the malarial drug and the antibiotic in combination, okay, hydroxychloroquine, I think the other name to give it is Plaquenil azithromycin. Say that real fast, okay? But what does it do? Like, what are these meds, like, why are they seem to be effective? And actually, there's a doctor in New York that's adding zinc to this combination with great results apparently. And this is why, if you look at the heading, I'm talking about zinc, selenium, and amino acids. A real powerful combination of nutrients, okay? We're going to talk about nutrients, like you can talk about vitamin D. I've talked to you about probiotics for your immune system. I talked to you about vitamin A for your immune system. But today I want to talk to you about food. And it's really important to understand this, okay? Like anybody in natural medicine or whatever have been talking about zinc for a long time. Why is that? Because zinc breaks through a virus like the common cold and breaks into the DNA of a virus to destroy it. And that's why, like, if you take a zinc lozenge, for example, you go to at the sign of a sore throat or whatever, they tell you it's very effective. And why is that? Because it actually helps to destroy the virus. And the medication we're talking about, these 2 meds in combination with each other, release zinc onto the virus. That's why this works. It releases zinc onto the virus. So, guys, where do you get zinc? How do you get zinc? Do you have to take it as a supplement? You don't hear me talking about taking zinc as a supplement, do you? Well, not much. I don't. I'm not against zinc, for example, lozenges that they make, and that I'm not against that. But why don't I talk about, well, you should get 50 milligrams of zinc every day or whatever? I don't talk about that much. Why is that? Because it's found in steak. You guys get it. Eggs, meat, and cheese has zinc. Zinc is not found in the plant kingdom. It's not there. So look, I'm not against plants. I'm not against fruits and vegetables. Don't get me wrong. But the virus does not do well when you have eggs, meat, and cheese. Because that's how you get zinc. And by the way, that's how you get selenium. There's studies showing that selenium, which is a mineral, you find it a little bit in nuts and seeds, so it is in the plant kingdom a little bit. But the best sources are eggs, meat, and cheese. I know, guys, I know. Dr. Martin, he can't talk about anything else. I know. I'm a one-trick pony. But guys, and you won't hear this on the news, nutrition is very important. I was listening to a Dr. Smith, I can't remember his first name. The other night he was on, on news. He's an infectious disease guy. Okay, he was talking about the medications, okay, the anti-malarial and the combination of the two. He talked about that. He was all for it. But he said something that hasn't been in the news. He said something that hasn't been in the news. He said he saw 15 people that day with the coronavirus. He's an infectious disease specialist. Listen to what he said. The news media, they interviewed him, but they didn't pick up on what he was trying to tell them. He was trying to talk about pre-existing condition. He said the 15 patients that he saw that day with COVID-19, listen to what he said. 10 of them were diabetic. 4 of them were pre-diabetic. The other one wasn't. Out of 15 patients that he saw, 14 were either diabetic or pre-diabetic. And what he was saying is the pre-existing condition that is the worst for this virus is diabetes. It's sugar. Sugar fuels the virus. Guys, this is so fascinating, but you're not hearing about it. You're not hearing about it. This is important. Now look, you're not going to change the world. I don't try and change the world. Okay, I learned that years ago, that I don't spend a lot of time with people that don't listen. Okay? Because guys, I get a lot of feedback, okay? And I know you, and you guys are unbelievable. You're listening. And look, I'm just trying to bring information so that you understand where I come from. My background, I got a PhD in nutrition. What am I going to talk to you about? Food and the immune system. And I go through all these studies to look for information. And one of the things that these 2 drugs, and I'm not against those 2 drugs, if they work, man, go for it, 100%. And these are what they call off script, meaning that they're taking 2 meds that one is used for malaria and the other one is an antibiotic, and they're going off script, meaning they're using it for a virus, and it seems to be effective. I don't know, guys. I that's not my expertise, but they will readily admit, using it, that one of the things that it works is it releases zinc onto the anti-malarial drug, releases zinc onto the virus. That's how it's working. Wow. Well, zinc is a mineral. It's a nutrient that you get in the animal kingdom. That's what it is, guys. You don't get zinc. You get zinc in steak. You get zinc in eggs. You get zinc in fish. You get selenium in fish. When I say eggs, meat, and cheese, meat, I'm assuming you know I'm talking about fish. And this is why it's so important, guys, your diet. And, okay, so what happens? Okay, what happens? Zinc decreases the duration of the virus. It literally attacks the virus. Selenium helps with your immune system. And this is how they work. Now, the third one I wanted to talk to you about is amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. Okay? And again, you guys know me, I'm a protein guy. Protein. Protein is the king of the castle of foods. Protein. I love protein. I love fat. I don't like carbs very much. Especially in this day and age. I'm not saying you can never have carbs. I'm just saying that carbs, we live in a world that's different where diabetes is 50% of the population and more. It's crazy. So to be on the safe side, be very, very careful with carbs. On my reset, you can't have any carbs. Zero. Nada. No carbs at all. I do that for a reason. One of the reasons I want to pump up your immune system. I want to get your immune system. This is so important. There's 3 things that help your immune system. Well, 4. One of them is negative. We already talked about it. It's sugar. Sugar. And remember, a piece of bread is going to be sugar in 5 seconds. And sugar, just like cancer, people have talked to me over the years, oh, Dr. Martin, well, as a matter of fact, they put this out in Sudbury because Sudbury has a big cancer center. And I guess I was getting lots of ink at the cancer center while I was treating lots of the nurses and people that were working there. And I was telling them, educating them on sugar and cancer. So they actually put out, I have it here, a sheet put out by the regional cancer center here. Says, sugar feeding cancer is a myth. It's a myth. I guess they were so upset. I was telling nurses or whoever was working there, I said, you've got a Tim Hortons right in your cancer center. Now the coffee's nothing wrong with that. But why are you got Timbits there? Cancer patients should never touch those things. And then I said, you send them, when you're giving them chemotherapy and radiation, you're sending them home with boost. Well, you're going to boost their chances of getting cancer or the cancer being fed. And you're ensuring that they're dying. I'm pretty blunt, but I meant it. Don't give cancer fuel. They said that's a myth. And I just remind people, I remind you, how does the PET scan work? The PET scan, by the way, PET, PET scan, it is an MRI on steroids for detecting cancer. How does it work? They give you a radioactive cup of glucose to drink before they put you in the machine. That's how it works. And sugar, glucose, goes directly to the cancer, and you light up like a Christmas tree if you have cancer anywhere in your body on the PET scan. True or false? It's true. Guys, the same thing for a virus. It needs fuel. Its primary source of fuel is glucose. This is why Dr. Smith, one of the leading infectious disease people in the US of A, said on national television that the worst pre-existing condition is not old age, even though that is a pre-existing, this virus hardly touches young people, hardly, and don't come after them. You know, some people came after me the other day when I said that. Well, I'm sorry. Okay, 1% are kids. What I'm saying is, every virus that I've ever studied in my lifetime, kids are like petri dishes. Kids get viruses, it's normal for them to get viruses. But not this one, not COVID-19. It doesn't affect kids. Hardly, I know, well, I heard about a kid in Texas that was in the hospital. I get it, I know that. Okay? But that's not just read it yourself. This is dangerous. Like when they're testing people, 99% of people that are tested have mild symptoms or no symptoms. And 1% out of that's still a lot. But it's not kids generally. It's not people with a healthy immune system. It's people who are really getting sick, have pre-existing conditions. And the number one pre-existing condition for the COVID-19 is diabetes. Yes, diabetes and pre-diabetes. And as the guru of diabetes, Dr. Kraft, used to say, because he's no longer amongst us, he died at 92 years old, but he was the leading authority on diabetes. Nobody did more research. And he said, listen, if you're a pre-diabetic, you're already a diabetic. I tell my patients, you got to be careful. I warn them, I tell them, you're on the Titanic, man. You're on the Titanic. It's only a matter of time, because what happens in your body, guys, every ounce of your body tries to keep your blood sugar under control, because blood sugar is destructive to your blood vessels. You learned that first day in medical school. But sugar is also destructive to your immune system, and this is why I'm talking to you about it, because it fuels viruses. We know, you guys know this, it fuels fungi, candida, yeast. And you guys know me. I've been talking about this as long as I've been in practice. Leaky gut, leaky gut, leaky gut, yeast, fungus. So, on the negative side, what do? Lower your sugars and crappy carbohydrates. That's what you do. You lower your sugars, lower them to nothing if you can. During this time, if you're concerned about the COVID-19, and if you're a diabetic or a pre-diabetic, you ought to be very concerned, because you're the type of person that will get very ill with this virus. Now, what has diabetes got to do with the immune system? Everything. Everything. And this is why I've been talking about this for so long. So on the negative side, cut down your sugars. On the negative side, cut down your crappy carbohydrates. On the positive side, what do I do, doc? What can I eat to elevate my zinc, my selenium, my vitamin A? Tomorrow, I'm going to talk to you about another thing on the immune system. This is fascinating. You got to tune in tomorrow, because I'm going to bring something new to you tomorrow. But it's going to be tomorrow, not today. But I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about your mucosa. What is your mucosa? Tune in tomorrow. How important that is to your immune system. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Your mucosa. But vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, selenium. Where are these foods found? You guys know it. Steak and eggs, and you forgot cheese. Dr. Martin, cheese. Why do you talk about that so much? Dr. Martin, every farmer, thank God for farmers, right? They're essential services, aren't they? Right? What would we do without our farmers? Essential services, right? Because they bring us eggs, meat, and cheese. Guys, that's where this zinc Vitamin D, look, better to get vitamin D from the sun and from a supplement than food. Not that you can't get it in food, but in my opinion, you don't get enough of it. That's why I want you to supplement. But when you eat those things, you're getting zinc. You can take zinc as a supplement if you want. And I would tell you, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you need to take zinc as a supplement because you're not getting it. You need to take vitamin A as a supplement. You're not getting it. And the third one, okay, so zinc, selenium, well, it's more than 3, but I want to flip to amino acids. What are amino acids? Amino acids are the building blocks for your body. Amino acids, the building blocks of protein. And you get some amino acids in the vegetable kingdom you do in the plant kingdom. There's some amino acids in there. But there's 8 essential amino acids that are not found in the plant kingdom. They're not there. Now, Dr. Martin didn't make that up. That is a fact. 8 essential amino acids like L-carnitine, L-arginine, L-leucine, L-lysine. I mean, they're found in eggs, meat, and cheese, guys. These things, you might even know this, L-lysine. Lysine is, they use it in the treatment of the herpes virus. You don't hear me talking about that much because I'm not necessarily, I'd rather you get it in food like bone broth. See, bone broth has all these amino acids. Eggs, meat, and cheese. You know what happens with bone broth? It takes 48 hours. You got to let all the collagen come out of and what's in there? Well, all your amino acids and L-glutamine and things that are found in the animal kingdom. And guys, this is why I talk like that all the time. So on the negative side, cut your sugars. It's more important today. And you know me, I've been talking about sugar for a long time. It's the new smoking. I'll bring a teaching this week again. I did it before, but I think it's worth repeating on aldehydes. Do you remember that? What do aldehydes do to your lungs? And again, where does this virus attack? What are they looking for in the United States? And they're worried. They're worried about the hospitals being overwhelmed. Okay, can they look? If you listen to any epidemiologist or whatever, they know, guys. They know that the vast majority of people like you and I, we're not going to get sick from this virus. They don't want you, I get it. They don't want you spreading it to people who can get sick from it. That's the point. It's not that they're so worried about you getting it. I mean, they're not. But they're worried that you're going to spread it to people that have a pre-existing condition. Understand that, guys. It's not like Contagion. You watch the movie? It's scary. Oh, anybody that gets it, young people get sick and die from the virus in Contagion. But this is not what we're talking about here, guys. Yeah, look, I know, some people are going to come after me. I know it. They're going to say, yeah, but Dr. Martin, there's 2 people in Texas that were healthy. No, 99.9% are people that are in the hospitals are there because they have pre-existing conditions. And so with this virus, they don't want you spreading it to people. In my opinion, okay, can I give you my opinion? I never do. Why can't I? Okay, here's what they should do. Here's Dr. Martin. If you have a pre-existing condition, you need to be quarantined. That's my opinion. The rest of us should be able to go back to work and quarantine everybody, including the old people, until this thing goes away. In my opinion, we're quarantining quarantining the wrong people. The healthy people, we should keep all the pre-existing conditions, and they can't have contact with people. To me, that's the way they should do it. Now look, I get it. I understand. Doctors want to be on the safe side, so they close the whole world down. I'm not going to change that. I'm just giving you my opinion based on what I see. They're they're isolating everybody. And I get it, because they don't want you to bring, but if you quarantine, I mean it, quarantine, not isolate, quarantine people with pre-existing conditions until this thing is over. Might be a month, I'll talk to you about April is coming. I talked to you about that already. And that's a good thing. And the hotter it gets, the more humidity comes in. We'll talk about that. The better it is for this virus. Doesn't do well in the heat. It doesn't do well in the heat. So all I'm saying is, that's Dr. Martin's opinion. Okay? But guys, here's what you need. You need zinc, and you know how to get it. Eggs, meat, and cheese. You need selenium. It's really important to activate your T cells and your macrophages. And the third one is amino acids. You need amino acids. What do amino acids do for your immune system? They help you to create antibodies. You've been hearing about that, right? If you get the virus and you don't get sick, you have developed antibodies. This is why ordinarily in children, in every virus that has ever come around, it's very dangerous for children in that sense because, children get almost every virus. Why? They don't have the antibodies yet. Their body is developing the antibodies to build their immune system. This is why children are much more susceptible, except for this one. Was it made in the lab? I don't know how this one came about. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy guy. Was it made in a lab to attack old people? I don't know. All I know is you need amino acids, and all of them, to have a healthy immune system. You need zinc, you need selenium, you need to protect your mucosa, which we'll talk about tomorrow. So guys, isn't that incredible? Okay? So, guys, love ya. Share this with your friends. If you haven't joined our private group on Facebook, do that. If you have any questions, one of these days this week, probably on Friday again. I'm going to do this every day, guys, okay, during the week. Brandy says, no, not on the weekend. She gets tired of it. She gets tired of hearing me. She said, could somebody ask, where's Dr. Martin on Saturday morning? I don't want to but we're going to do it every day this week, Lord willing. Okay, love you guys. Talk to you soon.
You've reached the end of another Doctor is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.